To Moonlight Madness, and today we're doing the sign for sun, moon, or rising in fire. Now, fire's come to mind because it's the first thing that I pulled out was a fire card. So if any of you got any cuspers like Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo in your chart, you could watch this if you were a Sagittarian rising, or you were a Scorpio with a Sagittarian placement, which I've got strongly in this reading. The deck I'm using is the Fairy Tarot by Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine, and the Fairy Oracle by Lucy Cavendish, artwork by Selena Fennick. First card I pulled off the bat is the King of Wands. You just came out like that. You're wise, you're theatrical, financial windfall. Your leadership skills are needed now, and an unexpected supporter of your cause. You may have someone that's a Leo or an Aries around you that actually is rooting for you to do well. I have an Aries placement. I was born at 10:40. And so Aries is quite a strong, I often go off Aries readings, then I do Aquarius readings. You can do that depending what time you were born and placement. The next card I've got, so being this fire sign, as I said, Aries, Leo, Sag, you could be someone who likes to go on stage, or you could be out in public. You could be an actor or someone who's an influencer on YouTube, or you could go to a community college and do acting on stage there. It's saying about you like to be in the limelight, you're a hard worker, you're very busy. The bees represent you being very busy. You like to go on long drives. You like to take road trips perhaps. You like to be out in the wide open spaces if you work from home. And yeah, you like to travel to new places, and being bored makes you very grumpy. You like to have new things to do constantly. You may be fiery by nature. You're a good person. You like to save the day, and perhaps you like to rescue people. The next card I've got is the 10 of Autumn. This is talking about a windfall of money or an inherited gift that you may possess, like a psychic ability. Take steps to ensure the financial security of your children and other loved ones, making wise investments or planning for retirement, honouring family traditions is what it's saying there. And then you've got here the Sun. In the past, you may have had a lot to do with children, or you may have liked to learn. You might have liked to go to school. It's because the sunflowers is talking about learning, higher knowledge, children, being a teacher. You may have been a teacher in the past, and they say that your first teacher in life is your mum. She's your teacher, she's your doctor, she's your nurse, she's your audience, basically. The mum is such an important role, and the father, but the mother is the nurturer and the first teacher and the first love of a boy's life. The next card we've pulled, and because I got the abundance card, I picked up Citron. Citron attracts money, law of attraction. The recent past, you may have gone through a very messy divorce. The Four of Wands is a messy divorce. It was good while it lasted. You may have royal blood. It's right in front of a castle there. Or maybe that you lived like a king or lived like a prince. It's saying that you were involved with someone that may be quite high up in the ranks, as I said, like a royal person. You had a lot to be grateful for. Deep feelings of peace and contentment. You may have had a very happy home life in the recent past. Now, this is crowning you. I got this card, and quite strongly, we're in Scorpio season. We've officially entered in Scorpio season. It's very intense out there. I suggest you take little mini breaks to get away from the intensity. I find sometimes it's just too people-y, as you'll say. When COVID happened and we all had to hibernate like a scorpion, when we came out, I think we were scared to leave the house. We had what I call cabin fever. And it was very much like people were scared to leave their houses because they had this cocoon, this little safe place where they could be with their family away from the pandemic. And then every now and then they would poke their head out like a squirrel and go rummaging for their nuts, go and get their food or their groceries, and then scurry home because they didn't want to catch anything. It was quite an abnormal thing. I think a lot of people are still going through it. They're still having issues with cabin fever. I think people are genuinely wanting to stay home more because it's more comfortable. You don't have to deal with people. So you're being a Scorpion right now. You may be behaving like one. You may have Scorpio placements heavily in your chart, and if you do, I can totally relate. It's just like hiding a crystal in a box, and then after a while, you decide to open up the box and take the crystal out. And you do that, and all of a sudden, there's so much energy in the room, you can't sleep because the crystal's been hidden And you find crystals in the earth. They're in the earth. So they're hidden, they're guarded, they're protected. And then when you pull them out, they sometimes they're too strong and you absorb all that good energy, but then they get drained. So you have to put them and bury them on a full moon. Bit of salt right near a full moon will then cleanse that energy, or your energy, off your own energy, and then you bury it again and then bring it back out. That's the law of the crystal. So you've got here release. You're releasing something in your life, an ending that makes way for new opportunities, time to move on. You may be going through a death, or you may have had a death in the family even, just for some people. Then you've got the Magician. You may have a Sagittarian placement, an Aries placement strongly in your chart. Aries make the magic, I always say. You may be the rock star of the zodiac. You know, Aries tend to be the rock star. They love attention, they command attention, they enter a room and all eyes on you. It also talks about you can do anything to change your life. You can manifest whatever you need to be a success. It's talking about if you're wishing for something and praying for something, it will come about. The Nine of Cups, that's your future. Right now, a wish is being granted. Whether you're someone's wish or you're being granted a wish by your fairy godmother or someone who's passed over who's a mother figure. They may be your biggest guardian angel out there. And what I suggest for people to do is, it says here, wishes come true, dreams fulfilled, a magical time of life. Write down your wish on a piece of paper, put it in front of a full moon, and you will watch the law of attraction attract what you need in life. Then you've got here the beginning of something, the beginning of a romance, the Ace of Wands. Now, you know, I don't need to tell you, and I don't mean to be, rude. We're on the internet, it's PG. But it's talking about that your person that likes you, you may do certain things to their body that they can't control, and I'm not going to go any further into that. I'll let you join the dots there. But you rise to the occasion. They rise to the occasion when they see you. You do things to them that make them want to be with you. It could be a very sexual relationship. It might start off as a sexual relationship, the beginning of. It's time to take action. Be fearless and happily pursue your next treasured dreams. Amazing career opportunities. You may have started a new job. Then you've got around people around you, your hopes and fears. You may be fearful of someone that you really like, but you might think that they're out of your league. They may be younger than you, or they may be older than you. There could be someone that is a Scorpio, specifically, because we've got the release card. That's the transformation, the death card. I'm believing you've got a Scorpion energy around you right now that's very into you. They are mature, warm-hearted, they're honourable, they're devoted, they're a romantic partner you can trust. Excellent advice that comes from this person. Getting involved in a cultural or creative endeavour. They may love the arts. They may be a patron of the arts. They may draw, they may paint, they may do something creative. They may make music. They could be a DJ. But they are very romantic and they only have eyes for you. They may live at a distance from you as well, because we've got the travel card, the Chariot. You may be having to go visit them. You may be stressing about self-discipline, celebrating your own accomplishments and being in the spotlight. You may be in the spotlight. This person may be a fellow person in front of, I don't know, a YouTube channel, or they're a TV presenter, or they're on stage, or they are an actor. They may be someone that's on the screen, on the silver screen as well, who's interested in you, and you don't know. And so I pulled this card, the Riddle Fisher, which marries up with the Death card, is the divination, seeking and finding answers. You may be seeking and finding answers, and I've got the Smoky Quartz, which also represents Scorpion energy. You may be searching for answers, fire signs, about this person. You might not know everything there is to know about them, but you want to know more about them. But maybe there's not a lot to go off. Maybe they don't even show themselves. They may be very light on social media. You might not see them there very often. They don't post a lot of things. Time to seek out the help of the fairy realm to find what is lost, recovering lost memories, past life readings and issues coming to the surface, going through the emotional waters that are deep and knowing it is safe to do, feeling your feelings and knowing their wisdom, searching for an answer, water divining, using pendulums and finding clues to quandaries. Just as you are searching for answers, a fairy is searching for your answers too. They love your puzzles, and you will find things and answers and pieces of information for you that will put the current jigsaw into a meaningful picture for you. Come at this time, allow this fairy to go on a search for you. You may not find the answers you were looking for, but you will find what is right for you. And then you've got the next card, which I find is one of my favourite cards, is the Galactic Stardust. premonition, beginnings and endings. You may have had a recent premonition because we're in a full moon. I believe we're in a Taurus full moon. And right now you may be very susceptible. If you are a Scorpio with a Taurus placement, you may be getting downloads from the universe because they want you to know your future with this person who's thinking about you at the same time you're thinking about them. You may start daydreaming. You may think you see them in a shopping centre, but it's just a future event. That's what I do. I see things future, past, and present. Possible paths that go wrong. If I'm doing something wrong, they'll show me what will happen to me if I go on that path, or what will happen to my son if he goes on that path. So I tend to pre-warn my kids. They're big boys, they're 23 and 21, and I'll tell them, be very careful driving today. Be very careful what you're ingesting. You need to have a detox. You need to do something because you're eating or ingesting the wrong foods. Okay, some of you may need to wear pink. Pink may be colour for you right now. You're seeking love, wear pink. So it says here with the colour, that colour is the 35, it's purple, which is a spiritual colour. And Scorpios tend to be purple. They love purple. I know a lot of them do. This card can signify a return to source, a sense of needing to rewrite the soul contract, changing and moving into a new stage of life, a new incarnation. In order to make sense of these feelings, you may need to be alone and in the dark to work something out, receiving messages clearly and strongly and hesitant to act on them, waiting patiently for more information, seeking connection in the night sky when we can see other constellations and galaxies. You may have access to a telescope. And understanding your own stardust, self and origins, thinking a great deal about off-earth matters, about life in the universe, and wondering whether they are galactic beings connecting with you, visions and dreams of these beings, and off-world communities and civilizations. Light being connections, ascended master connections, clues as to what will happen, but lacking absolute clarity means you are feeling you must pin it down to follow your instinct. Now, I've just started a job, and it's in the rag trade. I've gone from being in makeup for over 20 years, working with makeup, jewellery, things like that, and hair and skin and beauty, to a completely different trade. It's new, it's exciting, I'm learning new things, but it's all about colour too, because we're playing with colour when we're dressing someone to go out, or going to somewhere that's like a fancy dress, like say you've got, a pyjama party you want to wear. On cruise boats they have pyjama night. And I wouldn't be seen dead in anything but that didn't look attractive. It just has to look stunning, right? Because you're a pyjama party. I did one on a cruise when I went to Vanuatu, Lifu, which I didn't get to because it was underwater. We went in inaugural season. Don't ever go in March. We never got there. It was underwater, Lifu. So we went to Vanuatu and what's the other island? There's another one I can't think of at the moment, but it's got a beauty salon over there. It was so cool to see that. And yeah, it was like a 7-day cruise boat, and it was fun. It was exciting. But yeah, I find this new industry different but fun, and that's what you want. You want to have fun when you go to work. You don't want to be bored or people are cranky with you. You want to go where there's a happy place, happy people. I find the vibe's really good there. So very happy to be doing that. And so, being a psychic medium, I get these impressions of people. And I read someone the other day, and I didn't want to read them, I just do. I can't control what I do. I don't have an off switch. So I try not to have a foot and mouth disease. I try not to blurt out, oh, by the way, you've got a strong religious background, haven't you? I can see crucifixes all through your house. Oh, and statues of Mary. Why was religion rammed down your throat at such a young age? It was just not for you. Yet it was forced upon you. And I can't say that to this person because I read 2 people that day. It could be either one of them. And I don't know who, but I will get to know them and find out bits and pieces without actually directly asking them. And yeah, and I don't want to spook people. I think I spook people out when I know too much too quick. Or I blurt something out. And sometimes I blurt things out because I'm interested. Am I correct? Am I right? But you can't really do that in a work environment. So it's going to have to be in a social group, and then I'm going to have to ask permission. You can't just read people without their permission. It's like you're trespassing on their aura, as one reader said, which I'm following at the moment, Ocean Only. He said, do not read me. I do not give you permission to read upon me, or things will go bad for you. And I'm thinking, but how do you not read someone when you're interested or you want to find out more information? Because it's interesting to me how other readers get what they get, and how they download messages and how they shut it off. I try to get clues from other readers by watching them and seeing if they're going to talk about, this is what I do and this is how I switch it off. I'd love to know that. I would like to share common knowledge because we're in a community. We're sharing in a community what abilities we have, what we do, how do we maintain them, how do we control them, how do we stop them from overtaking our lives. It's come to the point where I have no off switch. And I saw COVID, and COVID was something that I don't know if anyone else saw COVID, but I saw COVID. I think I think Alison Dubois did. She talked about it. I think there was a lot of readers that actually saw it but never actually spoke about it online. I know Alison Dubois was one of them, but I never saw that till after the fact when I went hunting for other people that had seen what I'd seen. And when I had seen what I'd seen, I actually told my psychologist, and she was like, she thought I was losing my crap. She thought I was hallucinating, and I was having issues back then with medication, and I was on at the time for anxiety and depression, and we just thought it was the medication. We just thought it's not gonna happen. It's just a bad dream. It's just a bad trauma that you thought you saw something that you didn't. And I described it in detail what had happened. And then when it happened, we're on the phone and I'm crying and she's crying. We're doing a Skype call. I'm like, I can't believe everything I saw came true. She said, me neither. And we bonded over that. And I haven't spoken to any other psychologist in person ever since her. She's been with me since 2016, before I saw all these things. I think I got them in 2017, 2018 was when I first had visions of the pandemic. Wuhan, everyone being shot. And I also got downloads, like visions of the past pandemic. It happened in the exactly same place. How can one pandemic occur and then in the same place it occurs again? And I was watching scenes from World War II. Back then, they only had children were being shot and trying to fight for their lives because this pandemic broke out in Wuhan. I could see these children trying to defend themselves because back then there was a civil war between Philippines and I can't remember the other country, I think America. And they were fighting for their lives. And all I could see was rows and rows of coffins. And that's what happened. They showed image and footage in America of rows and rows of coffins. And I was seeing that during my vision when I was asleep. And then I was worried about someone breaking in my door with a baseball bat. And I kept saying to my kids, someone's going to break in with a baseball bat. And I was hiding under the bed. Then Black Lives Matters happened. And that's what I was seeing. Never thinking that would ever happen. Like it's out of this world. Like it's something out of a horror movie. Then I saw a big world war, as in the next world war that is coming. I've seen it happen. I saw there was nothing left. Not a bird, not a dog. There was just, it's like a ghost town. It was like it was frozen, like there was no life left here. And the only things patrolling were the Air Force. They were patrolling the streets of Australia to see if there was any signs of life because everything had been wiped out. We all nuked ourselves. We're dead. We're gone. So word to the wise, whoever's out there in the powers that be, if we have this war, that's the end of our civilization. There will be nothing left. And I saw us all go to Mars. The ones that are remaining, that are the doctors, the people that are important to the planet surviving, the psychic mediums perhaps as well, because they might need to know what to do next, all go to Mars. We all migrate to Mars, and life will start on Mars, and there'll be nothing left on this planet. It's obliterated. And I keep warning people, but no one seems to want to listen. No one wants to listen. I told my psychologist to warn the powers that be what I had seen, and I did. And then I think we got more vaccines quicker because of what I'd seen. I said, please tell the authorities. I want you to warn people. And in that time, we had Scott Morrison power. And I remember we got an abundance of stuff not long after. I think it was Italy. I think Italy got first dibs because they were most affected, and then we got it. Because Europe was pretty much wiped out with pandemic. A lot of people died in Italy. They don't have the facilities like we do. They don't have the money, the sewage issues in France and places like that to contain something like that. It was horrific. And so that's all I have to say on that topic, but I do like to touch on it to make people realise that there is people out there that can see these things. Do not dismiss them. Do not make up that they are unhinged or crazy. Some of these people actually have these abilities. It's an inherited gene. And I believe most of them are either ADHD, on the spectrum, autism. schizophrenic, bipolar, borderline personality. All of those people, those special people, I'm one of them, I'm ADHD and PTSD. All of those people, because I have PTSD from what I saw, what I went through, because I almost died about 3 times. Those people get to see the veil. The veil is lifted because those people have crossed the other side and they do not come back the same way. There's a famous neuropsychologist called, I think, Ebenezer. I think his name's Ebenezer Eben. You'll have to Google it. He talks about his near-death experience. He thought that it was just, holy baloney. He thought it was phony. And then when he came back from the dead, and because he studies this, it's called neuropsychiatry. It's a very new thing that people are looking into. We don't have enough knowledge on it. The people that have just come out of their psychology degree probably just started to touch on it because we haven't yet got all the answers on how it happens, why it happens, and how to stop it from happening. How you can't never be the same when you died a couple of times. You come back seeing dead people. I know I did. People that had passed over when I was 5. Mr. Herrival, that lived across the road when I was a little kid. I grew up with my grandparents, my extended family. He was there. He was walking up the street with his shoelaces undone. And I'm like, because I stepped outside, I was on medication at the time, but that's why I can't take medication. I stepped outside and I was seeing him in broad daylight, walking past me. I was too scared to leave the house. I had cabin fever. I didn't leave the house for 12 hours a day. I would clean for 6 hours a day. My son had to walk me outside. I was so scared because I didn't know what was happening and I couldn't contain it. I couldn't control it, and no one believed me, and they all thought I was just crazy. I lost my job over it because I had this reaction to a medication and had a breakdown over it. On counter while I was doing makeup, I was overwhelmed with all these people. I couldn't cope with all these people that I was trying to help. I couldn't get to them. I was understaffed. We're in this huge company department store, and I had a meltdown. And they had to send me home, and I was supposed to come back after 6 months on seeing a psychologist and all the rest of it. I never came back. I wasn't able to function the way I used to. I'm still not able to function the way I used to. I can't get too hot. If I get too hot, I start hallucinating. I start seeing future events. If I don't eat or drink enough water, I hallucinate through the daytime. I think I've always had this ability. I think I was doing it when I was a kid. I used to get in trouble looking out the window because I was seeing stuff outside the window. I was dreaming about monsters when I was 2. That monster was my stepfather. He was the monster. It was a warning. I was getting premonitions. I was sleepwalking it too because I was getting future downloads and I didn't know how to voice them, how to express them because you're only 2. Who's going to believe you? You just think, oh, she's having a nightmare. She's sleepwalking. She must be scared of something. Oh, it's probably just a bad dream. No, it wasn't a bad dream. I was taken to see a psychic medium, and she was very, very famous for her abilities. No one's like her. Mrs. Whitaker, her name is. She's passed on. It's funny because I live upstairs from her nephew. Because we were talking about what I do, and he said, yeah, my auntie, my great aunt is dead. Is Mrs. Whitaker. I went, oh my God, I got taken to her when I was 2 because they didn't know what was wrong with me. They thought I had a mental condition. No, I didn't. I was sleepwalking because I think I had epileptic seizures in my sleep because I was so scared of what I was seeing. And I got too hot. I couldn't cool down. I didn't have a thermostat. I used to overheat and I'd see things and feel things and sense things. And I was a very, very withdrawn child, very quiet, observant child. You would know I was studying you. I was studying what you were telling me and what I was thinking about you. And I had to measure whether I felt you were safe around me. I was gauging everyone's emotions. I still gauge people. I'm watching to see signs of a monster. I'm looking to see if you're really what you say you are on the paper is what you are in person, outside of work or outside of wherever you are. It's very overwhelming for me to be in a crowd of people, and I find I can't do it for very long. I find it's overwhelming. I get a headache. I start feeling sick, or I feel angry because I'm feeling someone else's energy. You don't ever dismiss that. If someone's angry and you're around them, you're going to pick up on that. If you're an empath like me, you will pick up on that anger and then you will take it out on someone else and you don't even know why. You got no control over it. I did it to my son recently. I was around my uncle, and he was cranky and having a day. And I went home and I was so cranky. And I should have not gone to see my son that day. He was meant to come with me. But I was cranky because he didn't come to see my uncle. It was a big birthday. It was his 60th. And he didn't show up, and I thought that was rude. So I let him have it. He thought I'd been drinking. No. I was just angry, and the anger just spewed out of me. We didn't speak for 2 weeks after that. It was massive. And he thought I was, becoming unhinged or something. I'm like, no. This is what I was feeling. Can you imagine having that type of energy, that ability? It's very hard to get quiet time. I don't get quiet time because my head is searching for threats, for assassins, basically. I'm looking for the assassin in the room. Sometimes I don't always see the people I think that are okay are not okay because they play so well. These players are out there and they come off as these lovely people, but underneath, you've got to scratch the surface. I always ask to take something of theirs home, or can I borrow your shirt, or can I touch you, or I get to, say goodbye to someone, I'll give them a hug, or I'll make sure I shake their hand so I can get a read on them. I'm like a detective. We're all scorpions are born detectives. We're either in the police force or we're detectives. And I always seem to attract undercover cops. I had this detective walking around when I was waiting to start my first shift in my new job, and he was watching me and kept going past me. And he could sense something. It was like, I call it spidey sense. It's like a cop sense. He knew something was off about me or something was different. He couldn't put his finger on it. He kept walking back and forth. Finally, he left. I thought, oh, man, I know you've got watchdog energy. I do too, but please, can you just back off? Because I'm feeling really uneasy with you patrolling me and circling me like a hound dog. It's like a German Shepherd is what he's like. I hope to God I don't have to deal with him every day. But now I think he knows where I work. I think he'll go away. That's what I hope. That's what I pray for. So if you have an energy, it's another thing I'd like to talk about. Maybe I'm rambling here, but this is important. If you're in a room with someone who can pick up on what you pick up on, they will reveal themselves to you. You will see future events for them, even if they don't even know they're projecting them on you. If you can sense they've got an ability, you will start seeing future events for them without even touching them, without even having to take a piece of jewelry in your hand, which is what I usually do, psychometry or massage. I pick it up from massage. I'm a beauty therapist. You don't even have to do that. You'll just start getting future events for them. I told one girl at where I work, you used to have blonde hair when you were a kid, didn't you? High school. She's like, oh my God, how'd you know? I said, I see things. I said, you used to daydream a lot too. You still do it. She said, yeah, all the time. I went, yep, because you're thinking, you're getting future downloads. Pay attention to that. Whatever you see in your daydream, write it down, date it. I do. Every time I get an impression when I'm asleep, I write it down. It's an astral dream. I'll write it down. It's like a movie. I can't get out of the movie. I had a vision about my son moving out to Merewether with a mate. He's about to move, only he doesn't know it yet. I have to pre-warn him. I think it's a good spot for him, but I think he's going to have to move in a hurry, and he needs to be prepared. I think it's forewarned is forearmed, is what I believe. I predicted the death, almost death, of Prince Charles on the coronation. I saw that too. I saw that week before it happened. I saw the Queen die before she died. I saw her death. I saw William. Oh, it's a slip of the tongue. Hope not. Prince Philip. I saw him die before he died. I got impression 3 years before it happened. It came to me in 2019. And I said to my mum, it's when the Queen gets really, really thin, she goes down in weight, that's when she'll pass. And it's like one will go and then the other will follow. And it was in the space of, it was not long after Philip did she go. I think she was grieving him. And I do believe she was poisoned. I believe one of the butlers, the ones that serve the tea, I got told in a vision, they served a tea. It was a different butler, not her usual type. And they told me she likes lemon tea, and they showed me a teapot. Now the tea is what she drinks is bergamot, which is made out of oranges and lemons. I didn't know that. I Google searched it after I had the vision. I believe someone poisoned her. I think they wanted to get them out of the road so they could start the New World Order, because they needed to do things that the Queen and Prince Philip would not have been happy with. And I do believe Harry will come home. I do believe that will disappear. I believe that will break up, and I believe he'll come home. I think it was good for him for a while, but I think he's realised that people change. What you see on the surface is not what you get after 6 months. I think they both realised they were not who they thought they were. I think she was vivacious. I think she was really good for him. But long term, I don't think that would have worked. I just think they're so opposite. They're polar opposites, in fact. And then opposites attract, I get it, but they seldom work. I was married to someone that was my complete opposite. And it did work for a while, and then until it didn't. And we had too many issues and differences and cultural clashes. When you come from other countries, you don't get the other country, especially if it's very strong, like Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner. Hello, England and America, completely different. Throw in the mix that he's got Spanish blood. Oh my God, it's just the same scenario as me, is what I went through. I had a Spanish mother-in-law from hell. She just didn't like me. She thought I was white trash. And she treated me like that. The only person that was nice to me was her husband. Yep, Joseph was wonderful to me. That's my father-in-law. He was a diplomat, very smart man. I loved talking to him. He never judged me. He said I was the best mother he's ever seen. And he rarely pays compliments to people that are, he says that other than a Spanish woman, he said, I pick you as one of the best mothers I've ever seen. I've never forgotten that conversation. And I think a lot of my father-in-law, I hope he's doing well. But that's all I have for you now. That's all I have for fire signs. Take care. Stay safe. Watch your health.